Hello, it's John Liu, Flow Ninja. I'm here for another very quick video on Microsoft Flow, now called Power Automate. And today's video is about how do we do distinct in Flow. And I'm gonna call it super fast distinct. And what the idea is that we have two arrays. We have an array of objects, or maybe let's start with an array of strings, and we just want to find now we just want to select a distinct set. So say you have two sets of array, you just want to find a set that's in the middle where it appears in both sets, or you don't want any duplicates. Now, this is something I've done before in a series where I talk about John Liu left joins, I think. Anyway, right, and I often send people to this link, aka.ms/logic expressions, and this is a shortcut that will send you right to the workflow definition language functions reference. That's very much a handful. It is expressions for logic apps and Power Automate, so for Flow. And you have this one big document, pretty long, but it's really just one page of every possible function within the Flow expression. Okay, so if you're thinking about, oh, what are all these weird functions John seem to be talking about all the time, they're all here. So this is your one big file that you should read through. I think everyone should read through and just have a rough idea of what's available. If you want to, you can also read further into the actual schema of the language and also the triggers and the actions. So how do you refer to triggers, actions using just the function language? Okay, but mainly read the function reference, which is that one. Now in the function reference, there is no distinct method, but there is a specific mention for this word. In the union function, it says return collection that has all the items from both. To appear in this collection, an item can appear in ID collection to any or more of the collections. If one or more items have the same, the last item with the name appear in the result. Okay, so it's almost like it's saying, as a side effect of union of arrays, it will keep only the last reference. Okay, now keep this in mind. So we're gonna go back. So our entire distinct trick is based on this really fancy feature. Now first we're gonna create an array. So this is using compose to just create an array on the spot. This is a string array, so we're gonna apple, bananas, banana, apple, coconut, and banana. And then we're gonna do a distinct using union. And what we're gonna do is we're going to say and what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna say union the output of the first array, and in this in the new expression editor, it's pretty easy. Union output of the first array, which is this one, so we want that. And then we want another array, because union needs one or two or more arrays, so you can't just give it empty. You can't type this because that's not really a valid syntax. But what we can type is using the JSON function to say give us a new JSON of an empty array. So that's the easiest way to create an empty array to use on the spot. Okay, so what we're doing is we're saying union the first array of our many fruits, there's some duplicates, with an empty array. Okay, and let's run that. And I last ran 3 weeks ago. If I quickly run this, You see those 0 seconds, and ta-da! What do we have? And distinct, it will turn this array into just the 3 distinct. See this? Pretty cool. Now, in our second example, so that's pretty much it for this video. Bye. Okay, no, there's a second example. And the second example is, what if we have more complex objects? What if we say we have an object with the property apple, apple, banana, banana, apple, apple, coconut. What about banana, banana 2, and banana, banana 1? Okay, so how does it deal with, say, joining this array? So in the case of merging, now we're working with complex objects, not just simple objects. So this will basically give us, and it's harder to see this, but let's take that out. Put that into Notepad. So you see, an object has to be completely identical for it to be filtered out. So objects that have slight variations, 2 and 1, they appear as additional objects. So if we're taking 2 lists and we're trying to find the unique or the union of them, or maybe just the unique ones of them, we need to first filter out just the common part, say the ID, before we start. Now, another feature of this is we can use it to do things like this. We could say, let's see, let's edit this. Let's add a data source like SharePoint. Let's just do get items. And I'm gonna struggle here with a list that have many names. I don't have that many names in my list, but let's go for it. Let's do Alright, so here's my SharePoint list. This list is quite interesting, and this list is actually a list that was populated from a social Twitter flow that was listening to the MS Flow conference hashtag from late last year. So I want to take this moment to mention that the new Power Platform online conference is happening really soon, and you should click this link right below and go and register. But anyway, so when we had this flow conference last year, I set up a Twitter monitoring flow that fed what everyone was saying into this one big list. This list has about 1,000 entries or so, bunch of Twitter names that you may be familiar with, and definitely several repetitions. Okay, so we're keen to understand the repeats. Now here, we want to come here and go to Microsoft Flow Conf. And in fact, quick trick, I need to fetch the top 5,000. Let's just pump in 5,000. That will do. And then that will give us, let's just test this. That will give me all the items from that list. So let's have a quick look. First run with an additional connection. You need to do a full test, not just a run with previous, because it needs a new connection. So we need to authorize the use of the SharePoint connector. A bunch of more clicks, but you only have to do this once. Okay, so this is now going to give us back all our content. Is quite large, so that's now saying click to open it in a separate page. And oh, some people have emojis. That's from Melissa, and so on. So let's take so the column is going to be called from. Okay, so let's just go back. So we're going to come back here, and let's do a few more things. Firstly, we want to do a select, and here we want all the items from that. And here we want the advanced mode, so we want the column called from. Okay, but we need it in the advanced mode, item from, and we don't actually need any of this. Now this might be very unhappy, so we'll have to have a look. Let's just type that. Let's see if it's gonna be happy with us. It may not be. There we go. Yeah, it's happy. Yeah. Now double check that, so you can pretty much say we want just a string, and inside the string we want the from. Okay, double check that. Pick this code. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. So for each item from this list of items, we want to basically pick out the name. And this will be a big list of Twitter handles. We are then going to do a quick compose with our distinct union trick. So this is gonna be to do union of the select with a JSON of the empty array, like so. Let's put that in here. And finally, let's do a bit of a count. Just tidy this up, make it pretty. So total, and then this thing. Okay, and the total will be the length. Odd, sometimes it just stops working. And then here, this thing will be the length of the compose, I believe. Yeah, so length of compose and length of the select. Okay, fingers crossed. And we should be able to run with previous because that's being authorized with the new connection. Save us a few clicks. Yes, okay. So firstly, show you the select. See how the selects flatten the array. So we just have an array of all the froms from all the different tweets. Okay, I don't actually know how many there is. We'll find out very soon. And the count actually is, it shows that I have a total of 1,085 tweets from, not total number of rows, but the distinct number of people is 281. And we get that from this second expression that did the super fast distinct trick. Okay, look, it's all 0 seconds. The only thing that's more than 0 seconds is the fetching of 1,085 records. So that's pretty cool. Now that is the super fast distinct trick using union to perform a join. It's super mouthful to say, but hopefully really simple for you to follow along and build that. Because there are no variables used using the unions and the expressions and select, you can actually use this safely within for each blocks and even run it in parallel. So that's this trick. See you in the next one. Like and subscribe. Bye.